Okay. Wait.
Do it, Captain.
Yes.
Need more
All
dilithium.
right. Welcome to those on the live stream. It's Mouth Breathers Guild Live, MBG Live, reading comics with your mouth. This
Not
week
my
we are
mouth.
excited to dig into the Ghost Fleet. The whole goddamn thing. I didn't get this in singles, so I just got this trade from Daniel Warren Johnson's table when he stopped by Acme Comics. We'll do a quick solicit. They trucked with the wrong guy. When you need to transport the world's most valuable, dangerous, or secretive cargo, you don't just call any trucking service. You call the Ghost Fleet. But when one of the world's most elite combat-trained truckers takes a forbidden peek at his payload, he uncovers a vast conspiracy that threatens not just him, but possibly the entire planet. It's badass supernatural action on the open road in this new thriller from Donny Cates and Daniel Warren Johnson. This book is great. I'm excited to dig into it. But of course, we must begin with some plugs. So, if this is your first time, never seen these before, we are actually indie comic creators and we got books to peddle. So, you want to support local artists, support this stream, support these discussions, support your local artists, friends, and lovers. Buy our books. Ben Hill is with us. He's in the camera right above me. And he's got the Time Police with his writer friend, James Solomon. It is an action-adventure buddy cop time travel extravaganza. Ben, tell him about Time Police.
Dude, it's all because we love justice.
There you go.
Buddy cop, Ben and Jay out there protecting the timeline. And they uncover something that seems a little seedy going on. So they start their investigation, run into a crazy masked ninja, and all kinds of questions start to pop up. Our first issue is complete. It's off to the printer, and we're super excited to have copies ready within the next few weeks. We also have some sweet coffee mugs, especially for those that supported our Kickstarter tier. We have a few extra of those, so if you see us at a show, we will have those for sale as long as they last. So stop by and grab some. You can go out and check out our Instagram at @_Time Police. You can find us on Webtoons, @_Time Police, and you can read everything that's out there right now. So super stoked to finally have a printed edition that we can start to share in a much more official capacity. I mean, you've got one of our nice homegrown printed ones there that you're showing off there, Kev, but we will have a much more official one that looks really nice and slick, say like Renowned or something like that.
Yeah. Thank you for the excellent segue. If you didn't know this about Manny and I am the writer, Manny is the artist, and we have a series called Renowned. It is a series of high fantasy and sci-fi monster of the week, monster hunter inspired stories. You got everything from robots to wizards to mad kings to warriors, family relationships torn apart, dwarven rebellions, giant crazy kaiju inspired monsters, and the like. It is a good time. You should check this book out. It is on Webtoons currently. We're working on getting our web store back up so you can buy physical copies. Otherwise, you can catch our physical copies at Acme Comics in Greensboro, the downtown location. You can also catch us at HeroesCon with press and solicit to come out soon. We have not heard back from HeroesCon. We're confirmed. We just don't have a table number yet.
Yeah.
Point you in the right direction. This collection is what we have for sale. It is all 3 stories. So 1, 2, 3. These are a ton of fun. Manny, what do you want to say to the people about Renowned?
Bye.
There you go. It's that easy. And then, of course, Manny also has his solo book, The Legend of Carl. It is a all watercolor Deep Rock Galactic fan comic about Carl. Rock and Stone Brothers. Rock and Stone. This will also be available at our table. You can get it on Manny's Gumroad. Links in the description / on my profile. But let's dive into the Ghost Fleet. Ghost Fleet, guys. Yes. This book is a ton of fun. Initial first impressions, let's hear from Manny first.
First impressions is that it's sick, but I love the little references to past things that Daniel Warren Johnson has done. Those are sprinkled in there. I think this might have been his 2nd or 3rd book after Space Mullet. I know he worked on another project with somebody. I can't remember what it was called though. But anyway, so 2nd book. published with Dark Horse. Pretty sick, pretty fun. And Daniel Warren Johnson is just going, full crazy. Lots of action, lots of crazy little squiggles and shit. And now just seeing him evolve from this to Murder Falcon, do a power bomb, Transformers, really cool to see. Really cool to see. So,
Agreed. Ben, first thoughts, first impressions.
It's a wild ride.
Hey.
It's a truckload of fun. See how many more. So this is one of the hardest books that I will never put this thing away.
Nice.
So again, it was nice. I think this was 2 years ago. I had picked up Ghost Fleet prior to going to Heroes Con. Daniel was there. So I was just like, oh my gosh, would you mind signing this for me? And just ask for a signature. And he does like a super quick sketch.
Okay, we can that again.
Oh, yeah. Bring it back up. Oh my gosh.
That's sick.
Boom.
Hell yeah.
Excellent. Oh, I see. Yeah, we got old Trace there.
Yeah.
The eye patch. Fire.
I love it. And it's the gruff Trace, right? We don't have the just the regular straight edge Trace from the beginning of the thing. But like you were saying, Manny, as far as story goes, this was my first book that I read of Donny Cates. Like, had not read any Cates before this. So this was my introduction to him as a writer. And I had known Dan from Space Mullet. So just getting to see, again, this is Dan's second book, like you said, Kev. So it's really interesting just seeing him dive into a property and create something brand new. And it's so interesting. It's still a young, not fully settled into like his own style. So the beginning feels a little like trying to get to know the characters and everything like that. And again, as typical Daniel Warren Johnson fashion, within like an issue and a few pages, he's found his stride and is into like all the wild, crazy stuff that he's just amazing at. It's funny now that we read Ghost Fleet again after Daniel has just finished his first 6 issues of Transformers.
Yep.
And getting like, here it was. He was drawing semi-trucks.
He was getting ready.
Even back in the day. So, yeah, it was a lot of practice to get ready for Transformers.
There's even a spot in the book that talks about Transformers, and I was like, they're foreshadowing his career.
Exactly. But the book was a wild ride. I kind of initially just thought of it as one thing, and, the last, issue and a half just takes everything that you originally thought about the characters and where the story was going and take it a completely different direction, which again, I don't know. From reading other Donny Cates stuff, he's not afraid to like just take what is going on and just turn it 90 degrees and go off on a wild chase, which I really appreciate now. But this being my first introduction to him, I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
What have I been? Yeah. I'll get into that. But man, yeah, super fun. Definitely, I would say if you're a fan of Donny or Daniel, this has to be in your collection. It's just fantastic beginning to end.
Yeah.
I definitely think this book is a lot of fun. And I'm glad you kind of brought up the crazy 90-degree turn that this story takes in its last 2 issues. And I'm not sure if you both read the interview at the end of the book with Donny and Dan. But essentially, this book was slated for 12 issues, but they found out by issue 6 that it would be cut to 8.
Oh, wow.
And so
that explains it.
It's hard to like fully hold that against the book, knowing that context. But that is like my biggest kind of qualm with the book, is that the pacing is just a mess. We can dive into it as we kind of talk about the story, but like like hearing that context makes a lot of sense, because it's just kind of like the story is at one place in issue 6, and then issue 7 and 8 are a totally different story. It works in a lot of capacity. I don't know. This isn't my favorite Daniel Warren Johnson book, and this isn't my favorite Donny Cates book. Having said that, I do really like this book. I think it's a ton of fun. I think it like wears its influences on its sleeve. It's very much just inspired by like John Carpenter movies and like, you know, just truck chase movies like The Hitcher and like Duel and stuff like that, and like great car chase movies. I do really love. What was that, Manny?
And Iron Maiden.
Yeah, I mean, there's like Iron Maiden references. He's got a dog companion. You know, there's crazy hitmen and evil shadow cabals, and you know, weird government agencies that are clandestine, and you know, mutant biker gangs, and you know, there's so much. Like this book checks off a lot of boxes for me, but I think it doesn't quite stick the landing in the way that Daniel Warren Johnson's solo books do. Where like as soon as I'm done reading the book, like I have a compulsion to like immediately flip back to the beginning and like reread it, you know, and just like stay in the warm, happy feeling that it gives me the whole time I'm reading it. This book doesn't do that. It's kind of actually quite alienating at times, where it's like really trying to push you to your limits as you're reading it. And I think Donny Cates kind of falls into that school of like writers, like it's him and like Garth Ennis and Mark Miller, where they love to like really push you as a reader. It's actually kind of difficult to get through in a good way because it's challenging and very transgressive and edgy. It sounds like a word that's kind of like reductive, but it's edgy as shit. And you know, but again, criticisms aside, this is definitely a book worth reading because you just get to see these two guys going absolutely ape shit across all 8 of these issues.
Oh yeah, dude, there's so much stuff in here that before we sat down and discussed, I completely forgot. So going back through here again, there's one in particular page that I want to make sure we highlight and discuss because I think it's hilarious, and not something that Daniel has not done before, but still super fun. But dude, you know, there are still heartstrings that are tugged at. So I kind of wonder how much of that Daniel took from working with guys like Donnie and not being afraid to pull punches. Because as we know, Daniel just loves to let little weeb boys cry when he writes his stories. And so I thought it was really interesting. Just there are characters here that have experienced loss and that will experience loss in the book. And it's, I don't think, to your point, like what Daniel would do is really make that mean something by the end. And by the end of this, there's really nothing to take away from the loss other than this is a crazy ass book and I don't know what I just went through. So I got to read it again. But yeah, I'm 100% with you. It's good to know that this was slated for an additional 4 issues, so they would have probably been able to transition things a little bit clearer and smoother, which we'll touch on. But it's still fun. It is everything that has to do with like if you were driving a semi truck and just lost control towards the end. It really feels that way.
Yeah, and I think that like to that point, like it does have that like edge of your seat, like truck barreling down a highway sort of pacing, and then the last 2 issues are kind of a fiery highway pileup. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing for this story, especially the way it ends. With the post-apocalyptic Mad Max thing. I'm like, is that really what you wanted this story to be? Is that really what you wanted the takeaway to be? Is like, oh, after like the end of Annihilation, like it's you know, these 2 guys riding off in the sunset biker gang style, like Mad Maxing their way across the landscape. Like, is that really where this story was supposed to land? And is that the feeling that you really wanted me to have? Because it's just like you're like, oh, okay, and then it just kind of is over. You're like, oh, all right, got it. Like that's at least how I felt.
Yeah, it's definitely very different than. Definitely rushed, obviously, because I remember reading it the first time and being like, well, I feel like this is like just starting, like after that epic battle, and then you know the last few pages are like, all right, so then this happened, that happened, this happened, all right, bye. was like, I wanted more Mad Max shit or something, man. If we're gonna go that route, I want more of it, dude. You can't just change it up on me in the fucking last 5 pages.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's easy to point back and go, well, if we had 8 issues, this is how I would have done it. You know what I
Right.
mean? There's no way of knowing that
But they
I
didn't
think
know
because
that,
Dan
so.
says in the back interview, he was literally drawing issue 6 when he found out that they were
Yep.
like, you know,
Yeah, that
only
messes with
getting
the
8.
pacing a lot. So, because I mean, it's just like
And
a
that,
good route for like the, beginning, in the middle and stuff, and then then it starts to lose control a little bit.
I mean, and here's like an interesting kind of thought experiment too with like a book like this. Like, let's say you're in their position, and your issue order gets cut by by a third. Like
yeah.
you're just making 4 less issues. That's 80 some pages you're losing to tell your story. Do you go, well, okay, let's just give this a gut punch finale and just like really like go balls to the wall and just say fuck it? Or is like should the attitude be, well, let's just end it with an open sort of ending, so that way if this actually sticks the landing and by issue 8 everyone goes, how did we miss this book? Like, where I want more Ghost Fleet. Then you get a second order for 4, 6, 8 more issues, and then you can flesh the story out. Again, this is all like too little too late. Hindsight is always 2020, but I mean, I guess it's like, what do you do in this situation?
I don't know if they were. My guess is they're probably not getting the sales numbers that they needed to, or whatever. Like Dark.
Oh, that's exactly what they said.
Okay, so you're probably not gonna get another volume. You know what I mean? So you just have to go balls out. And also, if Dan's already done those pages and that pacing and stuff, it's like, I'm not gonna tell you to redraw it when we have a deadline. Like, oh yeah, that whole issue you did, we're gonna scrap it. Like, you just can't do that and then have a quality shit at the end, So I get it. I would go the gut punch. Finish not perfect, man. Fuck it.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yeah, scrapping the whole thing. I know getting into it, I think it is interesting. Again, just some of the tropes that you see Donnie playing with, the 2 best buddies. There's a conversation going on between Ward and Trace, just about something going on between Ward and his wife. And they allude to things there, talking about Trace saying, "Dude, I tell you, I'd be a donor." God, I love the look of the truck, and it's got like that big scoop on the front, so like tactically it could take a hit if it needed to. Just that. And since this is the second book, it is Daniel taking full advantage of, I want to just show that I can do action in my style. And this is where, when we were talking about all the trad stuff last time, and we were missing a lot of the in-panel onomatopoeia, dude,
a lot of that here.
Daniel is going whole hog. You get the vrooms and the crunch and the smash and the rat-a-tat-tat-tat. Yeah, exactly. All that stuff. I love when he hits the dude with the bazooka. Just, God, how much can you just show amazing
it's beautiful
carnage in a single.
The crunch made out of like the piping of is great.
You could just feel the metal, And I do want to say the feel of this book, the paper texture and all that, I love that in this.
It's a little gritty, right?
Yeah, it's gritty. It feels old school, It's very like, I don't know. It gives me that EC comic vibes. I'd get a lot of those EC comics like from the flea market and stuff when I was a kid. And having that newsprint textured paper, it's always nice. And then having that great draftsmanship on those EC books. And now we get this nice feeling book with a freaking sweet ass draftsman named Daniel Warren Johnson.
Well, and I wonder what the original book was printed on, if it was on newsprint, because that would be really cool,
right?
To know that just kind of stuck with a theme. and I know we've talked about that with some of the other books that we've covered, where they kind of stuck with whatever that original texture was for the paper, just so that way you could have that same feel. But it really does, with Dan's art at this stage, very sketchy and scratchy.
Oh yeah.
Just adds so much to it.
He's very fast. Like, you can tell he's moving really quickly, but I mean, that's obviously not a bad thing. You know, we get so much energy out of those lines. So he knows
To
how
me,
to
like,
move it.
Dan's drawings feel like a kid playing with his toys. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, like, I'm like playing. I'm sitting. Yeah, I got my truck. It's going. You know, you're like messing with your truck toys and having a good ass time. Like, you know, that's like what this book really feels like in the best way. Like, I mean that as like the highest praise.
Yeah.
Like, he's always having fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can feel that. And I mean, that's one of the things that he talks about is having fun on the page. Because if you're not having fun, then the readers are gonna feel that. You know, so that's like the most important thing.
But it's also like, it's very thematically relevant to the way that this story is being told, and the way that Dan tells stories generally is that there's always an element of like almost like a childlike glee to the pacing and like the energy of his stories, even when you're in those like more dour moments. Like, it's always paced well, but like keeps up that like energetic, like it almost echoes like things like Miyazaki, you know what I mean? Where it's like, it's
Yep.
still very fun and bright and tons of energy, but it sticks those emotional punches really well.
Right.
Whereas like comparing it to like Luther Strode and Trad, like there are pages where that book is explicitly fun, but then there are pages where that book is not meant to be like silly, fun, gleeful time. Like, it is punishing violence.
Yeah.
And like you can tell the painstaking detail of the like the way Trad does those pages versus just like, you know, Dan going with his trucks and going boom pa, you know, like it's they're two different energies and they're executed perfectly suited to each book, you know.
Well, speaking
So
of
good.
Miyazaki, Nausicaa is probably, I think that's one of Dan's favorite mangas of Miyazaki's, and it's a freaking phenomenally drawn book, as you can imagine. So, highly recommend anyone to go and get that.
Yeah.
It's stunning.
I know he's spoken in many interviews just about
Oh, yeah.
how Nausicaa kind of changed his life and the way he draws.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Even if you don't get the full book, even getting the I've got the concept art book that has tons of like the full watercolors
Oh yeah.
that were done, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So what I love about that is you get to hear about the process and hear how they created all those things. And I know just the way that reading that book, whenever you hear Daniel talk about his creative process, it does have a similar feeling. That's why I'm really stoked about the Extremity book, which maybe we'll cover one day, especially with the
artist edition.
artist edition that's going to come out. But I mean, I think Extremity was the book that came out after this, which was a Daniel book, right?
Dude.
That's from start to finish. But you can see a lot of him playing around with pacing, and I think, again, it does help that he has Donnie there, because Donnie had done at least one or two books already. And, yeah, you see just a lot of getting, and we don't even get a full reveal because there's the massive crash of the truck rolls off, there's some kind of crazy like sarin gas or something that looks like it's just rotting or melting people's faces off, which again, just Daniel getting to go whole ham and show just how crazy he can be. The one dude that has just vomit or something coming out of his eyeballs.
Yeah.
Like, that's so freaking crazy. But then, you know, this is where Trace is like, dude, I just got to know what's in the back of this stupid thing. And we don't get to see a whole lot. We see, a feather and some weird chunky stuff on the inside.
Well, it's also like this part, that aspect of it, it has me thinking, knowing the ending is like,
knowing the ending.
Well, knowing the ending, it's like this isn't necessarily abiding by its own logic to what happens in the end, where like, you know, the horseman of the apocalypse injects itself into a human host. Which, spoiler alert, that's the last horseman is death. So we're assuming this is another one of them, maybe pestilence because of the disease that hits all these people.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
I think they do reference that.
Yeah, they do.
I think they
Yeah.
mention that later on in the book.
But you know, I don't see the exact host thing happen. But I think that this first issue is like, if you know you've got somewhat of a limited or an ongoing, and you're just going setup in your first issue, I don't think there's a book that does it better than this book, because it gives you tone, energy, core conflict, tons of setup and intrigue, and just like hits you quick. So you're going, what the hell is going on? And then it ends it with that splash of the teaser with like this very obvious Escape from New York sort of reference.
Yeah.
Which, this is funny. They talk about this in the interview at the back of the book. This was going to be in New York, but when they only had 2 issues to get there, they decided they couldn't have a logical reason for them to be in New York. So the Statue of Liberty at the end is the little New York section of Las Vegas, because you know they're in the desert and they go to Vegas instead of going to New York, which I thought was really funny.
I love it because it does give me one of my favorite scenes in this book, being in Vegas. Which again, we can get to that when we get to that. But, dude, just all that being the pretext to where we actually begin the story. Trace kicking himself out of the back of this car, abandoned in the desert, where even though his buddy betrays him and shoots him in the back of the head, like out through one of his eyes, leaves him with a stash of money, some water, and bullets and a gun. And dude, just that, I love this panel where he just looks effed up.
Yeah.
He still looks ripped, but he looks effed up, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna go figure out what the hell's going on.
And you know, a perfect way to open the story with this teaser of narration, you know.
Yeah.
This is how our story begins, not with a general or a pirate or an act of war, but with an act of cowardice, of fear, and foolish mercy, with a new perfect hate, a plea for absolution, and a dead man with nothing left to lose. This is how our story begins. Just a great way to walk through that and kind of lubricate your anus for the Daniel and Donnie penetration.
Well, so what kills me is we go back, we see all this stuff with the car crash and everything, and then we get the, you know, being left in the desert, how our story begins, and then we jump ahead 2 years later. And it's like, we're just time skipping our way through the beginning of this book. And a part of me, God, this was another thing too. When they have the scene, and I don't know if this is just a dropped thing or whatever, and you see the driver get shot through the driver glass before the truck crashes, the dude that has the sniper rifle, like, gets on the walkie and says swarm, and Daniel does a really tight shot or a tight panel on the guy missing his middle finger. And I'm like, all right, so maybe there's a secret society of people who they all take off their middle fingers? I don't know. But then 2 years later, we see kind of our main villain dude here using his middle finger as a thumbprint, or a fingerprint, a fingerprint. And I don't see anybody else missing middle fingers.
Right.
Like, Trace is what's his face? The assassin guy missing a middle finger?
Our main dude?
No, not Trace. The guy with the black shirt.
Assassin.
Yeah. The assassin.
What was his name? That guy had such a cool name too, and I'm mad that I can't. Mickey. Now Mickey's got all his fingers.
I think they show the dude in one of the HQ sections with a missing middle finger.
Perhaps that's a character that was going to come more seriously into play.
It's the dude. He's talking on the phone. When they're in the HQ section, you see that middle finger's gone.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It's
So
just it's just one of the agents who's working for him.
yeah. So
Interesting. Yeah, I think the only significance of the middle finger on the fingerprint scanner is just as a fuck you to the whole pomp and circumstance of the cult, because he just seems kind of actively disinterested. And like, it is I mean, what perfect foreshadowing to call this chapter "The Devil Himself," and the first person you see is the devil, which that doesn't pay off until the very end. So kudos. But then just even the devil himself going to appease this like cult of man, who obviously, like, if I'm the devil and I see these guys, I'm obviously going to be bored too. You think he's bored because he's just a man and he's like, what are all these dorks and capes doing? But no, he's like, they're not even real satanic. Like, I'm real satanic. You know what I mean? Like, that's how at least I interpret it rereading through it. It's just like these kids are all just playing and I'm the real deal. And that's why he couldn't be bothered to, like, really even engage in the conversation.
Yeah.
But again, the devil cult stuff, I wish we got more of these guys because I love them. It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
And I don't the themes with the owl. I don't know if that's just like a Court of Owls rip or what. But there's an owl drawn into the tablets. There's one, this whole big statue hovering over the council, the lake of fire or whatever's going on there. Maybe that's just Dan having fun.
And I love like the armed bodyguards that are standing behind the court that's there. And it's like, just in case stuff goes down, they'll have those guys. At least that's the initial thought.
I don't know.
A lot more questions that I had, going back through this again, where it's like, why was that? Where does that tie in? I don't remember this.
Yeah.
But good catch, Manny, because I missed the missing finger when we get to Ward talking to some dudes, and we see that one of these is a special ops that's like found in a container vessel that's literally pulled into harbor, which I think is fun, right?
It's just like all this random like paranormal shit just keeps happening.
Yeah. Well, like Dan just like crushes like the half full and 2-page like giant reveals. Like he like has that sense of scale and weight that make these moments hit really damn hard, and it's so much fun throughout the whole story.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
We also find out that like Director Ward Trace has actually got a little microphone or something hidden under his desk, so that's how Trace knows what all's going on and who his buddy's talking to. Absolutely love. Just there's a reason, at least behind that, how he knows what's going on.
Yeah. And then how he's tattooed over the numbers that he had on his fingers in the beginning of the book. I like that little touch.
Yeah, with the 1812 that he had on his knuckles.
Yeah.
He's no longer sworn allegiance to the Ghost Fleet.
Nope. Get shit out of my face. And then we get that Grand Theft Auto gun van moment.
Oh, dude, the gun van's so cool.
Yeah. I like that.
I was interested because this looks like the Manny kind of greasy spoon here. So, unfortunately, we don't get to run into any cool tattooed ladies that are, waitressing or waiting for people in the diner. We're missing that. We don't get that until Murder Falcon. But I do like these greaseball truck drivers that are all hanging out around the table. That one dude has a killer mustache.
Yeah, he does. He's a super pointy, man.
Yeah.
I love the just liberties that he generally, like Dan generally takes with his background and side characters. Like, just like, the fact that the trucker's got the mama tattoo with the heart on his arm is just
And
like
the barbed wire underneath there.
Yeah. And he loves to pepper in these details that just get me juiced when looking at his screen, like his panels.
No, And we get the little stuff like when, you know, Trace is balling up his fist after these truckers are giving him crack. You get like the little crick, crack, like just that tension
Right.
of him clenching his fist.
Big
And that I
dog,
love
damn
that
it.
line weight that you get too.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah. Fantastic.
I also love the like piss stain over like the windows and sky that he employs just in a lot of the desert sequences. Like he
Yeah.
just uses those big color just blowouts. That just really work.
Lauren Affey.
yeah, Lauren Affey. I was looking to see if it was Spicer. I didn't know
No.
if Spicer did on that, but yeah, Lauren Affey.
Yeah, and Crank did the lettering.
I don't know
Yeah.
Crank.
Yeah.
What did we
Was
review
it
that
Jonah?
had Crank doing lettering? Again, I don't know how much Crank really does lettering because Daniel's doing most of that directly on the page.
Yeah,
as far as like
it was Jonah and the Impossible Monsters.
That's what it was.
They did
Crank did some
lettering
cool stuff in there.
Yeah. Great letterer.
I missed that week, so I have not seen any Crank lettering. Crank, where you at? Come letter our books, man. What you up to?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Um,
Oh god, I love the explosion coming up.
Oh yeah. Boom. And just
Dude.
I love the panel in the HQ where you see the cast of Space Mullet in there. I'm pretty sure you get Solid Snake at the top there. That's what it looks like. I think the next person has a sword. I think that's from
looks like Sephiroth is what it looks like.
Okay. And then you get
Final
the Akira bike underneath that one. Yeah.
Well, it's got to be Sephiroth because that's like that's Cloud's sword that's next to the weird-looking Joker or It character.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, got you.
Wait, I am looking at the wrong page. Where is all this?
Just before they blow up the surveillance lab.
Yeah. When they're like looking at all the images.
Oh, right there. No, that's not it. Keep going. I think you're still behind. It's after they talk about the ship pulling into the dock, and you see all the people dead. Yeah, that one right there.
Oh. Yep. On the screen.
I do love that whole cast of Space Mullet. That's so freaking cool.
They're in every book too. Like he puts them in the background on something. It's great. Love it.
Got to build up that Dan lore.
Yeah.
Of course, there's like more immediate Dan lore later on in this book that we'll dive into.
Oh
yeah. But
yeah, dude,
I'm gonna.
That's my favorite page, man.
I love that one too.
Continue this conversation. I'm going to mix another cocktail.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, so we go from the wreckage of inside the. Sorry, my oldest is losing her mind from Kevin's nice little segue of like, I'm gonna go mix a drink. Why don't you and Manny discuss? But I'd love, this is where we see the explosion inside, and then we get some of the similar wreckage on the outside, where Trace is stopping the fleet. And dude, this entire action sequence where Trace is like taking out the I'm not a trucker guy, and I really should know more about it because my grandpa's been a trucker his entire life.
How dare you?
But that car, the one that like carries the car, just setting that all, it's all nice stage dressing. Yeah. That way you get that awesome ramp shot at the end.
Dude, so good. Just the chaos that Dan does with all the smoke and stuff, you know, and the texture.
Seeing Trace there, it's on the back of the book, but seeing it inside, holy smoke.
Yeah. And just the cloak that dude's got on, that Trace has on, and then he just whips off, and then you see all the smoke twirling around. What a good composition that is. Juicy.
The grenade launcher. Yeah, again. I know Daniel has an entire book of like military grade clothing with like the pouches and even for weapons. So
I need to get that.
But I love it. The gas mask, which looks fantastic. He's got the compound bow slung across his shoulder. Oh.
Yeah.
And I love the chaos too. Just the way he's able to do those little tight shots that don't show the full face of people. Just cutting them off at those perfect angles, showing that like crap's going down. This is crazy. The wide eyes on the one dude close to the who's got the shotgun.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Doesn't even have to say anything, right? It all is conveyed in his eyes.
What the hell?
Driver, abort route. I repeat, abort route. Like hell. He's got that cigarette in his hand on the steering wheel.
Yeah. And just the movement with that cigarette smoke, like you can feel like that window's open and it's just whipping in the back.
Oh my gosh. And to end that comic book on that page, just all the tension, just keeping you waiting. I love that as a storytelling choice where it's like, instead of yay, rah, or oh, we're going to end it on a mystery, it's like ending it on this dramatic tension, drawing that bowstring back. So when you pick up issue 3, like shit is going down.
Yep. What a great way. Great way. And that foreshortening going on with his arm, I love that stretch. And then
it makes me want Daniel to do a Hawkeye or like a Green Arrow book. One of the two.
Yes. Yes, sir.
You just said the magic words.
And here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that cover with the dog and Trace sitting on the truck.
I feel that.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the thing that kills me too. We go from that dramatic to how peaceful it is with Trace and the dog on the hood of the truck. I'm like, I love that. I could stare at that all day.
Yeah. Whoever's got
but
that,
if
I'm so jealous.
Oh my gosh.
This was probably when his pages were cheap too.
Back when you could get them for like $300.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I wonder what Felix would have sold this at the time.
Yeah.
I wonder if he was with Felix at this time.
Yeah, because Felix found him on Space Mullet. Or while he was doing Space Mullet on DeviantArt.
There you go.
You never knew. Never know who's
Jeez. Must be nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love this is where you get the stealth stuff. He starts shooting the gas grenades, so they have to put on their masks, and him just walking up behind the one dude and just pulling his mask off.
He's just like,
then
passes out.
So good.
I love the stretched leg on the next page.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Yeah.
So cartoony.
Just the eyes coming out of the shadow, like the silhouette of his head.
Yeah.
This is so funny.
Do you hear me? You have no idea who you're playing with. Do you? The hell? And then just fist right through the mask glass. Oh, it's so good.
That's a fucking powerful hit, man.
So good.
Gosh.
And using the kind of debrief as like the storytelling device, like that's one of my favorite tropes.
Yeah.
In like action, war, stealth things, it's like, you mean to tell me one guy came in here and killed 100 people in this warehouse? Like, yeah, and he did it all with just a stapler. Correct, sir. Like, it's always like something ridiculous like that.
What if it was 6 guys? What if it was just one guy?
He may have ran.
That's right, Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
You know
there was a firefly. Yeah, that's great.
The movie's so bad, but so good. So good.
I love it. I don't know what you're talking about. It's perfect in every way.
I think it's just kind of like a mess of like assassinations and like thinly veiled racism, like all kind of smashed together.
There's that.
But I
that is
do
true.
have a kick-ass time when I watch it.
Right.
Like, definitely lightning in a bottle for that guy Troy Duffy. Like, I don't think he was like, because the second one was terrible, and like you just can't replicate the magic of what makes it fun.
You and your fucking rope.
What do you ramble with that knife?
Gosh. Here it is. This is the perfect thing, just setting up a Hawkeye or a Green Arrow story. The assailant fired a makeshift flashbang grenade directly into the driver's sight line.
Oh, yeah.
Just that arrow coming right at the cab window, just blinding the guy. And then the bottom, we couldn't make out much on our end. A few garbled curses, a scream, and it's like you turn that page for that huge double splash, and nothing.
Dude,
that's like perfect John Carpenter right there. It's just
so good.
Snake. Yeah, that's sick.
But I mean, this is where I think you could totally get Solid Snake out of just the way that he's drawing or handling Trace with what he's doing, some of the stealth stuff, and then just the vest,
the eye patch,
the eye patch. I mean, maybe that was it. Maybe he and Donnie were talking. He's like, I want to draw, Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid. That's all I want to do.
Metal Gear, yeah.
And then he was like, well, I want you to draw Snake Plissken from Escape from New York. And they're like, oh,
like, what the fuck they do together? Boom. It's so good.
That's what I love about Hideo Kojima, though. He's just like completely unashamed to be like, yeah, his name is Snake and he has an eye patch because I love John Carpenter movies. Like, there's no way. He just never hides. Like, I love the on-the-noseness of his stuff. It's so fun. Yeah. Like Die Hard Man. From Death Stranding.
Heartman.
Yeah. Heartman. Just Conan O'Brien thrown in there for no reason.
Dude, yeah. I love Conan. Everyone loves Conan.
He's like, Jeff Keighley is my friend. I'm going to make you deliver pizzas to him. Like, what?
Oh my gosh.
I love this dude's
forehead. Can you guys tell me what is the song that he is rocking out to when we catch up with him and his dog in the truck?
The dog.
Yeah, Fear of the Dark by Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden? Oh, there we go. I need to listen to more Maiden.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, you do. If you're not listening to Iron Maiden, man.
I've listened to Iron Maiden. I have to say it is not on my just normal list of, I'm going to turn on something to draw to.
Oh, dude, you got to draw to Iron Maiden, man.
All right.
Them and Judas Priest are like some of my favorite art music, because as soon as I hear that shit, I get so juiced up and like in the zone.
Dude, I was running a Turbo Lover today.
I'm your Turbo Lover.
It's great.
Oh, dude, Painkiller is something that I like listen to like once a week.
Fantastic.
It just like gets me going in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, I got a crush today. Just fucking let it rip. But looking at this page, like with the sequence where she hands over the file to what's his name, Ward, and it's like talking about his wife, or she's like, yeah, what did he mean by condolences? And you just let this panel be really quiet, and then he walks away in silhouette. Like, how crazy! Like, he just does it all so well. Like, this is like what drives me crazy about Dan, is that the big moments are big and the small moments are small, and everything is drawn and colored and lettered perfectly. Like, it's just like he knows how to draw the acting on the page, but also contextualize and compose every feeling you're supposed to have when you're reading his books.
Yeah, And I mean that long. You also get this long panel, this long horizontal panel, and I always look at that as that time. That's time, going by.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time.
He does it in this book too, or maybe I'm thinking of another book I was reading this weekend, but I want to say it was in this book where with these conversations that get really heavy, he'll like do certain panels where he really minimizes the size of the characters in the conversation and lets just like negative space take up the panel. And I just like read that and I go, fuck, like that's so smart. I can't remember because I'm not gonna lie, this past weekend I binged through all of the Reckless books, all 5 of them, in like basically a sitting, and then I read this immediately afterwards. So I may just be confusing thoughts I had with both books. Oh, it was this one. It's on this page. I forget which issue this is, like 4 or 5.
Texas. It's 5.
But yeah, it's like, they're having this conversation and they're both up in each other's grill, but then it pulls away and he minimizes the size of them in the panel. I just think that's like a really smart way to do it. Like, they have this exchange. He's like, you and Sarah, because he was referencing Sarah and his like state, and then it's just a quiet moment between the two of them, and it's fully emphasized by just the smallness of them in the frame through this whole conversation. I love that device. I think that's so cool.
Yes.
But lesson to all artists out there: sometimes you don't have to do every panel like these crazy driving truck panels. Not every page has got to be like that. You know what I mean? You don't have to bring the heat all the time. Sometimes less is more.
Or you can be like Jeff Darrow and just draw your fucking ass off.
There's only one
Either way.
Jeff Darrow.
Either way, people are gonna eat it up. So.
I was listening to an interview with Brian Michael Bendis and Matt Fraction. They were interviewing each other, and he kept calling Jeff Darrow Geoff Darrow. I couldn't tell if it was like a bit or something. I was like, what?
Geoff
He's
Darrow?
like, my good friend Geoff Darrow. And I was like, what are you saying? There's no way.
No.
Man. Yeah, the Iron Maiden sequence in this truck got me so hyped. Because, like, I have not done this in a truck, but I've done this in my car, listening to Iron Maiden with my dog. I'm just being like, damn, I got my dog, I got Iron Maiden, I'm cruising down the highway, I'm absolutely having a great time. And, like, you tug at my heartstrings immediately as soon as you put a dog in the book. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
We put dogs in our books. Like, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Was I the only one who like frequently forgot that Trace was like Puerto Rican throughout the book?
Yep.
He just speaks Spanish. Chinga!
Yeah, they have to reference it a couple of times. And I mean, they even call him mixed breed and stuff like that, just to really kind of hammer home the point that he's not just a white dude, even though that's kind of what he looks like. They call that out several times.
Yeah.
No, it's just more that he speaks Spanish like intermittently throughout the book, and I'm just like, oh, what the fuck? Yeah, sure.
But he's a badass.
It's about Sarah, and he finally just tears the CB up.
The panel with the sad dog in the rain kills me. The dog's name is Axel without an E, so it's like both a heavy metal reference and the fact that it's a truck dog. Axel, like perfect dog name. Like that it infuriates me that I didn't come up with a name that good. You know what I mean?
Well, so we get what I think is cool here is where they start playing up the paranormal stuff again. You get Ward trying to tell Trace that, like, Sarah's dead, and then Axel won't leave the truck, and we close out with the CB that's been completely smashed to bits, where someone says, Trace, where are you? And he's left in the rain. Sarah? So cool. Then we get the flashback that starts off issue 4, just showing that there's a good relationship between all 3 of them.
Dude.
And there's even an insinuation, like you said earlier, Kev, where In the diner, the question is, was there more between Trace and Sarah? They kind of leave that up to the reader.
No.
Ultimately, it doesn't matter, you know?
Well, yeah.
Like, it's not about the fact... I mean, like, that's kind of a useful tension throughout, but it's also just, like, you know, a device for which both of these men can care about this woman. There doesn't have to be a lover's triangle of sorts. You know
I
what I
think
mean?
it allowed, I can't remember that lady's name at the end, but it allowed her to make a gay joke, which
Yeah.
is kind of... Donnie doesn't shy away from making gay jokes, so
He's got that edgelord thing going on in his books.
he does. He does.
Like, Donny Cates isn't one of my favorites, but I definitely wouldn't like lie and say that I don't have fun reading his books. Like, they're always consistently fun, but they don't always hit the mark for me. I haven't read Buzzkill, which I know you've given to, like, you've loaned to me. It's sitting on my shelf, but I've read Bastard, or not Bastard, Redneck. I get Southern Bastards and Redneck mixed up in my head.
Yeah, fair enough.
Redneck is like so close to being a really good book, but it just falls so flat. Like, because it's about, like, it's got so many, it's like Louisiana Bayou incest redneck vampires, and I'm like, yes to all those things, and then it's just like ultimately cohesively not that interesting of a book. So proof of concept that, like, good concept and good energy is not enough to carry a book. There's got to be that hook of, like, meaning in it. You know what I mean? Which is like, because, like, on the flip side for Dan, like, you can be super productive and be like, oh yeah, do a Power Bombs book, and there's, like, you know, wrestling and aliens and demons and gods and whatever, and it's like, oh, it's a fun pro wrestling book, but, like, that's not the reason that book is good. That book is, it makes it extra good if you already like professional wrestling, but, like, what makes that book good is the relationships and the themes, and, you know, memorable characters, memorable moments. So
I guess. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Murder Falcon. Would it be one of your favorite comic books of all time if it didn't have that immediate emotional hook of it? Like, of course you'd be like, oh, it's sick, it's heavy metal and kaiju fights and it's awesome. But would you tell everybody that you knew to read it if it didn't make you cry? You know what I mean?
It didn't make me cry. I'm a man. I don't cry. What are you talking about? I didn't fucking
Big
cry.
strong man. Big
Okay?
balls. Big strong man.
It's just the moisture. It's really hot in here. It's humid outside.
I was just resting my eyes. Okay.
I'm not crying. You're crying. Don't call me a pussy.
Oh, dude.
Speaking
of,
I was just kidding. I was just kidding with you, Kevin.
Oh, I get it. So you want a fist fight?
Yes.
That's right.
So
Dude, how insane is all this stuff that just happens in the truck with some kind of weird supernatural craziness going on?
And the coloring, and I'm telling you, man, this freaking paper, God, I just love the way this wouldn't hit on glossy paper, man. Like,
right.
it would be like, what is that? I gotta move this thing around. No, on this matness, okay? I love this.
I
love
agree,
the way
100%.
this feels. It's great. Nailed it.
And, like, it's because of all those ink splats on the, you know what I mean? Like, the dirtiness. And then, like, when you feel it, it's got a rough texture. So it feels a little dirty, you know what I mean? In a good way.
Yeah.
Like, it's oh.
Perfect.
Yeah, I want to print on newsprint so bad.
I was going to say the anthology would have been a perfect time to do it.
Yeah, right. Next time.
We'll do another.
Yeah.
We'll do another one.
Did you go for high gloss on that?
I can't remember the option I picked for it. I don't think they have newsprint, though. They don't have a newsprint option.
I know the newsprint on Mix'em was, like, crazy expensive.
What?
If you chose
Wasn't it?
No, there was no.
I thought we looked at it. I thought we were like, oh, newsprint. No?
No, I think it was recycled paper or something. That's, like, super expensive for some reason. I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah.
Brock asked Ben, why aren't you live? Because I'm live and Manny's live. But Brock's only in my chat, so does it even matter?
That's right. You're here with us. We're hanging out.
It just matters that you're here with me now, Brock. You're mine.
All I'm doing is reading the book. I'm not drawing. If I was pulling a Manny, I'd live stream and draw.
Dude, I'm gonna veg out after this. I ain't drawing.
Yeah, I'll talk comics a little bit after this. But otherwise, We'll watch an episode of TV probably, but we're not quite there yet. Again, this hasn't been the most in-depth, crazy thing. We've just kind of been flipping through and giving our thoughts. But yeah, this is as close as this book gets to its emotional hook.
Yeah.
Dude,
His relationship with Sarah.
I love the death scene that's coming up, where we reveal that's one of the four horsemen. Because I don't think he's death at the end. I'm pretty sure he's war, right?
No, it's death. I think it's explicitly mentioned that it's death.
Yeah, it's death. Yeah.
Brock said, "Don't bully me, I'll come."
So I guess this is his first interaction with death, posing as Sarah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
Death.
Stop.
Well, what's interesting is, like, again, is the pestilence just free upon the world, or does he have it in him? Like, that's one thing that I've just been wondering. Like, what's the logic there? Is the death already working its way into him now? Is it like lubing him up for the prime ghost takeover, or the prime, spiritual takeover? I just don't think the book has enough time to really explain its logic, and then by the time it's really going, it's just like, fuck it, this book's crazy. Like, just go for it.
Yeah, but then we still get cool crap like this.
Oh, it's awesome.
Death and the giant skull, and
it's like an album.
You know exactly what I am. Say it.
Say my name.
All fading out the
Say my name. Say my name.
So good.
And then the cut to like Truckosaurus in South America.
Great.
Mickey!
Mickey's a great character because he's like, there's no depth to him, and there doesn't need to be. He's just this instrument of chaos. These are like my favorite characters to write because they don't need growth and change. They just need to be fucking crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They serve its purpose.
And the shirt is also insane.
His shirt, it changes in every panel.
Yeah.
I do know.
That's one of my favorite details.
I know with that, I think the first idea was Donnie wanted it to be a hat, a trucker hat. And then Dan was just like, that's way too small.
Yeah, you won't be able to see it.
Yeah, you won't be able to see the lettering. So they changed it to
something that
shirt.
you can only do in comics.
Yep.
I love the length of the barrels on these
They're
silencers.
comedically large, yeah. Just like the Splinter Cell guns, but let's make it bigger.
Just like, yeah, the speed and the chaos around him, like just speed lines everywhere and guns and bullets. And it's just like, love it.
Well, and it just, I don't know where he's at. Some kind. Oh, I guess he's the president. Like he's assassinated the president of South America. He starts taking people out, and then he's the freaking helicopters and all these Secret Service.
He just walks outside, like, yeah, I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
What's up?
Well,
No,
I love
talk.
the way that he answers the phone on the previous page. Mickey Reno, Shadow assess. Oh, hey. Yeah, no, I can talk. What's the job? Like every assassin character and every gangster character that I ever read is like been permanently burned in my brain as NoHo Hank from Barry. I don't know if either of you have watched Barry,
No.
but it's like the funniest fucking character in TV history. Like he's played by Anthony Kerrigan, the bald guy who plays Victor Zsasz on Gotham.
I remember
like,
what you're talking about, but
yeah. And he's just like, hi Barry, like you're like total super cool, awesome badass guy. Like, yeah, there's like a whole scene in Barry where they're like going to like FedEx over a bullet to a guy to let them know they're going to assassinate him. He's like, it's going to be super badass, Barry. We're going to send DHL. We're going to send him a bullet in the mail, and we cannot don't kill him until he gets the bullet in the mail. It'll be super badass. So good. And Mickey Reno gives me that vibe.
Yeah.
He's just a goofball. He's just a good guy.
He's just a good guy that just massacred.
Oh, he's like a complete homicidal lunatic, but he have fun.
He have fun. He's a good guy. He can chill. He could chill. Dude.
It's like totally chill. No worse.
Dude, and then he starts writing that letter. He's just like, yeah, so I got my target. So that's pretty crazy. God, I love the way he draws smokes. So good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is by far the coolest cover, in my opinion. This like crazy 70s Ken Russell sort of like demon chick with everybody, the dog and the truck, and this isn't the Tyrell cover, right? Who did this one?
I don't know.
Tim Doyle did chapter 5.
Okay.
Yeah, Tyrell did chapter 6, which is also really sick. Here's that one. Yeah, that's Tyrell. Him with the machete and all the skeletons on the truck.
That's right. Yeah.
Shout out Tyrell Cannon.
Tyrell's the man.
That's the dude. That's the guy.
Nicest guy on the planet.
Oh, big fan. Big fan. But yeah, the cutest thing. He writes in his diary about the people that he kills.
Oh, dude. We lost the Trace. He's writing about Trace and the fact that Trace is some BA.
Yeah.
Which is just reinforced by the fact that, like, I'm going to drink gasoline.
Right.
And then I had these tampons up his nose to stop bleeding, and she just rips them out. Like, oh my God.
With the pop.
Yeah.
And then the question we all have, like, who are you? Because she just randomly shows up, just talks to him like normal.
Yeah.
And she was going to have a much bigger role that ended up being cut. Yeah, like she was set up to have like a significant part of this story. And really because she shows up in issue 5, there's no time for her. So she's just kind of like just not really utilized, not properly utilized.
Yeah.
She's a plot device, essentially. But I do love the double crossing, the reveal of, you know, her having his wallet and being a DEA agent. This splash of the bar fight kills me. So cool.
Perfect. Good.
It's like Sons of Anarchy shit. There's a Sons of Anarchy illustration that Bram Ravel did. This kind of reminds me of it. Definitely more Bram Ravel, the one that I'm thinking of. But, you know, everyone loves brawl scenes or a bar fight, man.
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, here's another one, and it's great. It's drawn by Dan Warren Johnson.
And more Space Mullet in
there
the background.
There you go, dude. There you go. Yeah.
Save for those Space Mullet dudes.
Yep. Perfect.
Oh, holy crap. I just realized.
Optimus Prime.
Dude, Optimus Prime.
Foreshadowing, man.
Dan was planting the seeds years ago, because when was this original run of Ghost Lead? It was like 2017?
Yeah, 2017, 2015 or something.
Yeah, first printing was November 2017.
2017.
Just realized that. That's crazy.
I also love that this book is dedicated to Kurt Russell. I don't know if you all caught that.
Oh, no, I missed that.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, totally. Totally.
An old snake.
Call me Snake.
I'm a snake.
I mean, it's literally Snake combined with his character in Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
It's that. Yeah. And then they're like, let's make a book. Sick.
Oh, man.
I'm such a sucker for biker gangs.
Dude, how easy it is for him to just draw so simple of action. Just punch the dude in the face.
Right.
Kick the bike stand out from underneath him. Grab his gun. It's just 3 panels, a little bit of dialogue, just showing this progression.
Yeah, man.
Then
I love when he kicks the kickstand. He has the kick onomatopoeia, and then in parentheses, very subtly, it's stand.
Kick
stand. He has so much fun with his onomatopoeias. You know, like the best one he ever did was do a power bomb, which was the montage.
And then another montage. That's a thing that manga artists do too. It's just when there's like a big old thing of pancakes or whatever, and then it just gets yummy or whatever. You know,
it'll literally just say pancakes.
Yeah, pancakes. It's so fun.
No, this makes me so sad though. We get the foreshadowing for Axel.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is our John Wick moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. What a
fuck these guys.
Seriously.
Fuck this biker gang, dude. This is shit. God damn it.
Yeah.
But if you're really worried, dude, just remember what's in the truck. It transforms into a giant robot.
Noah
Dude.
says his best onomatopoeias in
That-
Transformers. What is the best onomatopoeia in Transformers? Noah, you're gonna have to exposit more upon me.
Don't spoil it.
Yeah. Wah, 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 wah.
I need to get my
The
volume.
Oh yeah, the one that he does where it's like echo. Oh, yeah, no, it says the onomatopoeia that's just the song. And it's the
Oh, there you go.
you've got
Very
the
true.
touch.
You got the power.
You got the power.
Great.
Dude, I wish I went and saw the re-release of the '80s Transformers movie in theaters. I know they did that fairly recently.
They're doing a well, it's not Transformers.
Isn't the trade already out?
I think it's about to come out.
Does it come out this
About-
month?
I think it's out yet.
I saw pictures of it.
I gotta
though.
go.
They're coming. They're on their way.
They're gonna rush
Did-
that crap.
Did you guys see
I saw
that Marco Ferrari's got he's doing the interiors on the next G.I. Joe series? What's it called?
No way.
It's one of the side series.
Is he doing Scarlet? Isn't that
Scarlet.
Word. That's what I saw. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Marco's doing the interiors on Scarlet,
What a fucking.
which just
man.
like I mean he did variant covers for pretty much all the Energon books, and they're all amazing. Shout out Marco, that's a great dude.
Yeah,
That's
he's
a
great.
talented artist, super nice guy. Yeah,
Fucking
support Marco Ferrari. I think it's at Marco Ferrari Inc. on Instagram. He's such a sweet boy. I want to kiss him on the lips.
He's so handsome.
I mean, yeah, he's a handsome guy.
And what I think this is one thing that does kind of drive me crazy about Donnie. Sometimes he gets a little too cute. It's like, yeah, we're in Fate, Texas. It's like,
Yeah,
hey, I get it.
that's yeah. So, but that's the thing about comics. Sometimes you got to be pretty damn on the nose.
You gotta be cheesy as fuck.
Transformers Trade Volume 1 came out May 8th, so it's a weekend.
No way.
No.
I'm looking at the image site right now.
It's ridiculous.
$16.99.
They did not let that. They didn't even let the ink dry.
Transformers number 9. Is that out yet? No, comes out in June. Wait, do I have 8? No, I guess I only have 7. Okay, I gotta read 8. I gotta go pick it up. It's in my poll. Yeah, and we get the reveal of the DEA agent, and that's spoiled. Yeah, and Mickey. Oh no way!
Yeah.
We found him.
that
Forwarding
face.
coordinates. Hold on, diary. I got a text. Just live notating. It would have been fun if he did the whole diary as like the whole framing device for the narrative here,
Ah,
Yeah.
instead of just
no.
like starting and ending it.
but I love the fact that like Mickey does give him the like ability to be irrelevant or irreverent. There we go, irreverent. Because this flashback to many years ago, which when you get the meeting of Trace and Mickey, and they're the guards that are protecting like the secret meeting space or whatever.
Yeah.
The dudes in the beginning, and it just the devil walks through the doors, and then Mickey just looks over. He's like, "You think they do like you know
Sex stuff?
sex and stuff in there?" What?
And they like have the back and
Continues.
forth. He's like
Oh, it's
Israeli
so-
commandos. Damn, Krav Maga, Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, great shit.
Yeah, they're totally doing sex stuff in there.
Like giving it that
That
moment of
breed.
like the two of them checking their
Yeah.
guns for a panel, and then yeah, they're totally doing sex stuff in there.
But this is what the guards do when no one's watching. You know, it's that sequence.
Exactly.
It's great.
It's like stormtrooper dialogue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just imagine a stormtrooper doing that. That would be.
You think Palpatine's in there? You know, taking
Right.
care of the old bald man.
You know, they're like, is Vader a full robot? No, he's like a guy in there. Do you think he has a dick?
Yeah.
Just say
How does he? How'd they take a shit? Like, you know.
Does he take robot poops?
What hand do you think he wipes with? His robot hand? Or... Wait.
Then they hear the music. Bum, 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 bum,
Start getting
bum,
choked.
bum, bum. They're like, oh shit.
They immediately like just stand back upright again.
Yeah, we get the most Sons of Anarchy, Lost in the Damned, biker gang hideout thing. I love the way that he just kicks the shotgun into his jaw.
Dude, yeah.
Absolutely fucks him up.
And like grabs it, kicks it into his face, and then grabs the butt of the gun. And it's so good.
And then sad reveal.
Yeah, I mean that is about how I would feel if someone did that to my dog.
Right.
That face right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's the John Wick thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's such an immediate and powerful thing. Like they're like they killed his dog.
This is the strongest emotional thing right here, actually. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
This is it.
Not the Sarah relationship.
No,
it's
the dog.
Yeah, actually, I agree. That's bang on.
Yeah. We see that relationship happening. They're just hanging out, having a good time, listening to Iron Maiden, and then this happens. Damn it! Kill everyone.
Yeah, dude, I love the guy duct taped to the chair.
Oh
my god.
Yep. This is like kind of like the Last of Us, that torture scene. It's like, I'll pop your fucking kneecap off, that bit. That's probably my favorite scene in that. It's like so gruesome, but it's just like he's on a mission. Let's go. It's gonna get brutal.
Fuck yeah. Where did they take my truck?
Yeah.
He goes to find the truck. Meanwhile, you got the biker gang. I love the introduction. Oh yeah, I can see him coming up here now. It looks like he's the president of Argentina because he's driving the president's presidential car up. And then he comes stepping out. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, like Mickey doesn't realize that like he's in the wrong place with the wrong people, basically.
Yeah.
And then he just like starts laughing hysterically. The fuck is so funny? We're literally having a Mexican standoff.
No, it's so good.
He's just swaying the guns around, just like super animated about it.
Yeah,
and the fact that they're all spying on each other, because he's like, Mickey, how'd you find us? And he's like, your lady friend's a Fed, been tracking her phone.
Everybody. Great. And then that reveal of what he did to the dude, I was just like, oh, that's beautiful.
Feed him to the dogs, man.
Yeah.
Like green room moment.
Had some friends to play with. Just reuses that line that was said to him. I love that shit. Perfect.
It also shows too, Mickey is he's the wild card.
Oh, dude.
He's just like, Mickey, and he shoots through Trace's ear.
Right.
It's just like, oh my gosh. Caught you a little there, huh?
It's like, Mickey, one more time for old time's sake. And fuck yeah. And then this is like the
this sequence
people
is
just
great.
getting fucked up.
And this is what I mean. Dan is so fast with it. Like, someone could easily just render all of those chain links and stuff, but he just uses that as a shape, I think that's wonderful. And you also get that energy with it, and I love these sequences with the firing going on, when it's 3 shots happening, but the gun is clearly moving either from the left or to the right, and you see that trail of firing that's going on. That's probably one of my favorite things in gunfight panels.
Or it's not only the 3 gunfires, but like his arm is bent backwards, and you're like, oh wait, yeah, he's also throwing the knife into the dude's head.
Yeah.
So it's 2 action sequences that he's able to just put into one, and it's God.
Yep.
So
And then you get everyone's close up on the face with just blood splatter going on, and Mickey's just having a grand old time.
Yeah, Mickey's smile contrasted to their two faces of horror. Bethany is just in way over her fucking
It's
head.
just like, what is happening? Yeah. Trace is just like, I'll kill you. Mickey's just like, fuck yeah.
Fucking sweet.
Yeah.
The aircraft carrier coming in. Dude, his vehicles are just amazing.
Yeah.
And
I love
landing. And I know that vehicles are like an either like an I love it or an I hate it thing for a lot of artists.
Yep.
Like, and Dan just fully embraces it. Like, it feels like it's just him and Sean Gordon Murphy and nobody else like likes drawing cars and vehicles.
I really suck at vehicles. Really suck at them.
I'd probably be better if I drew them.
Well, there's that too, right?
Well, we have the car chase thing that we want to do, Manny.
Yeah.
Street racers.
He sounds so excited.
Well, it's a loose idea. It's a loose idea. It's just that I really want to do a car chase book.
Yeah.
Dude, it would be fun. It would be fun.
And then, of course, the chapter 7 is called Big Trouble, which is obviously Big Trouble, Little China. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little nod.
And that cover, that's probably my favorite cover. Yeah.
So
it's just the dude's arms, and then the freaking tank getting cut in half. It's sick.
So awesome.
Fantastic.
No, still not my favorite action panel, but it's coming up. Favorite action panel is coming up.
Just Mickey yeeting himself out of the plane.
It's like, peace out, guys.
See ya. Vaya con Dios, bro.
It's all right. He comes back.
Awkward.
And then they're just like, this plane is going to crash. So they're like, all right, let's drive the truck off the plane. Like, some serious Fast and Furious vibes.
Yeah, dude, I got Vin Diesel vibes from that, for sure.
Oh, man. Why he didn't make Optimus do that in one of the panels. Oh, it's so pretty. So good. And again, him getting to play around with that onomatopoeia, because you have the ka, and then boom, right out from underneath. Oh, it's so great.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of fun. And then explosions, man. Using that dry brush, and then he's like, where the light is, right? Where like it's super hot right there in the center of that explosion, and then as he's going out, he's getting darker and darker and more sloppier with those movements, with those chaotic dry brush strokes,
And his like brush and like whiteout like splatters that he does are just always so fucking perfectly done. I love that shit. Just all over the all over the
which
page.
is a James Herron thing. James Herron loves doing
very
that
much
shit.
so.
Yeah. So I feel like he's definitely taking notes from that.
I forget where I saw it, if it was in the back or if it was in some piece of back matter, but yeah. Showcases Johnson's intricately detailed textured line work, sharp eye for quick, powerful action, and versatility with character expression and design. The Ghost Fleet is full of bombastic action, but it's also a very human story about love, friendship, and loss. So, like, yeah, texture is a great way to describe one of the strengths. I'm jealous of the vehicles. Takes a special kind of artist to make them look fun. Exactly. Right. Like, I would say, like, Dan is on the side of it where the vehicles look just expressive almost, like organic almost. Whereas, like, Sean Murphy's got that, like, very, like, draftsman, I drew a perfect Shelby Cobra, like, sort of thing that he does in his books.
Yeah. And what I love is, like, there's the contrast, too. Like, Dan has no problem drawing them big and chunky and beefy. And to your point, like, all of Sean... like, his stuff is real slick, real clean, kind of low profile. So,
yeah,
he definitely has his own aesthetic to it.
And there's a reason why there's a short list of guys we talk about when it comes to vehicle work.
Right.
Like, because fucking, it's hard to do that shit.
Dude, I think this is where we finally do get the reveal of who was in the...
Frank Miller does got some good vehicles, too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Frank does.
I mean, the reason why he was having fun with it was when he's lifting it off the ground, like every panel. There's no car that is just like
on
On
the road. They're
touching-
just literally jumping off of everything. And Frank Miller was just like, yeah, that's started having fun with it when I started doing that.
Also, two other guys that I think of immediately is Mobius, but it's more for vehicle creation.
Yeah, like
But
spaceships.
then also
and shit.
Akira
Akira Ghost.
Toriyama.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing
Otomo.
fucking crazy vehicle designs.
I mean, the freaking Akira bike, dude. The best looking bike.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone loves that bike. You can get out of my face. It's beautiful. Which I have that
Yeah.
storyboard right here. Yeah. Speaking of bikes, look at that shit. Oh my god. Oh good.
I was gonna say, if you get that book out, I have to go get my Nausicaa book.
No. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. We need to pay attention.
We're so close. We're so close to the end of this one.
And I was calling out, this is where from just this brief exchange between we find out to be the devil very soon, and kind of the lead commander on the first truck container, where he's talking about, dude, should we risk, opening fire on this and breaching the container? It's like last time we did this, the creature was severely injured in the process, and the commander's just like, yeah, you're probably right, or yeah, you're probably about to lose a lot more men. Pestilence was a pussy. It didn't even have a host. So,
and that's the first time we get the turnaround, on the lore.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what's going on?
Right. And this sweet action scene, Trace gets kicked out of the truck.
Yeah.
And Ward's just thinks he's doing the noble thing, but what he's actually doing is unleashing the beast. And we get the first sign of the devil, like the devil horns coming out. Amazing demon transformation here, and then he's just full on Lucifer. Splork. Like, I love these.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
And when he had opened the fourth seal.
Yeah, this one I stared at for a very long time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is in my brain where I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like, what are we doing? I thought this was some kind of military or, secret ops type thing. And we're talking about pestilence now, and this dude just turned into a freaking demon. What the fuck? Like, I just lost everything.
God, the detail on this fucking creature.
The hand, the fingers around the lips and shit is so cool.
Oh.
Definitely Elden
All the
Ring
eyeballs.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eyeball getting stretched out.
Old. A pale horse, and his name was Death. See, that's the confirmation that this is Death.
Yeah, there you go.
I was thinking about Johnny Cash when I was reading that.
Yeah. All those hands and eyeballs that like flood around Trace as well.
Oh yeah, that's a nice little trippy sequence.
When he starts charging at the soldiers firing, and we just get the sequences of the chop, and just like ripping people in half.
Yeah.
The tank in the background of the bottom panel, where they're all just standing there, and then they all slice open, and the tank just explodes.
Yeah.
In the background. Oh, it's so cool.
Kaboom. Him just with the limbs, and then like the aftermath of that with the limbs flying everywhere on this page. It's like so crazy.
He catches a tank round.
Like, he catches a tank round, punches a tank.
So what?
God, it's so good.
Then this is like the full-on devil horseman of the apocalypse. Crazy. I don't even know, man. This is when you're like, wait, what is this comic doing now?
Right.
But it does have the best opening page in the entire series.
Dude.
Yes. I love that they make it about Buffy, but they're really talking about the book that they're currently in.
Right.
And it's Dan and Donny Cates.
Yep.
They are. I just think it's lame they got canceled is all. Yeah, but it lives on as a cult phenomenon,
You called that out, right? You're like, dude, it got cut short, and the fact that Donnie's character is like, You're just a sucker for a space opera. Anyway, what do you want to do for issue 9? I was thinking something with bears.
It's like, wait, what is that? Like, just a great meta contextual reference. Like, for those of you who are just catching up on the stream, just here, like, basically, this book was supposed to be 12 issues, gets cut to 8, and so the creators of the book are cameoed in this sequence in Vegas where they're talking about what they want to do with issue 9 and then get murdered. Like, just a hilarious way to spin that and start a book. Especially when they have to kind of pick up the pieces.
And I will say the Mass Effect logo, what that N7 thing, right? That's like Mass Effect, which is big inspiration.
Where is the N7?
Yeah.
On his jacket?
No, on his hat. On his hat. That's blowing towards the camera at the top left of that kaboom.
Yeah.
So,
because I was wondering what that was in reference to.
Yeah, so Dan played that, and then that's what inspired him to do Space Mullet. It was just like, that's cool, but I want the main character to be kind of like chubby.
Yeah.
Dude,
and like not know what he's doing.
Mass Effect, that is one of my favorite series of all time.
Yeah.
God damn, those games are so fucking good. You haven't played Mass Effect? Play the remaster. That shit is always on sale for like a couple bucks. And it's like, you'll easily get like 40 to 80 hours out of each game, and there's 3 of them, and it's just
Yeah, one
it's
day
like
I'll
the
play through
closest
the whole thing.
Oh, dude, the
One day.
remaster's so good.
But man, dude, this is great. And then we get the Statue of Liberty sequence.
So good.
This ends now. I like that that's the dialogue that pairs with this is how the story ends in the beginning.
Yeah.
And this ends now. Which is like, oh, here's the ending, quote unquote, of our story. They're sorting it out. How do we defeat this? the military Humvee just murdering everybody.
But I think that's it doesn't murder everybody. You got 2 guys giving each other crap back and forth.
Right.
And the one dude on the walkie's like, she's a federal agent. She could go to the cops and do what? Arrest us? Come on, man. I got a family at home. And the other guy's like, cats ain't family. And then all of a sudden the dude that was like, I got a family at home, just gets ran the F over. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Where's Trace?
Oh man.
They're trying to figure out what's going on, and we just have the full-on demon fight. Just like actual hand-to-hand combat between Lucifer and a guy. But this kick where his neck and jaw twists and it breaks over the panel, that's so smart.
I love the uppercuts with that elbow just being like full like flex mode, Yeah. There's so much power in that one. It's one of my favorites.
You will not take this realm, horseman. This world will be judged. And then gets killed by the bow and arrow. Who dares?
Ah, shit.
Just the fuck is all this? Fire! And they all just... Of course, he starts tearing people's heads off.
It's
coming up. This is my favorite scene.
Yeah, and then how do you kill him? With, of course, a giant neon sign.
A giant boot.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Owlboy Casino. I thought it was Cowboy, but there is no open space. It is OOWBOY. Owlboy Casino.
I love that.
That's great.
I love all the energy. And the fact that it's a boot. Like he stomps on with boots.
He rips the head off and punts it over the highway, and it hits Mickey in the face. And the onomatopoeia is karma. Just such a hilarious way to have fun with things. And of course, the spirit of death leaves him. And what does the spirit of death do but plague the entire planet and rain disease all over the earth? And then that reveal of, oh man, I think Roland was actually the good guy being Satan. A fun twist that happens far too late in the pacing of this book. Again, can't hold too much of the pacing issues against its creators. It probably would have been perfectly paced as a 12-issue book.
Yeah.
We won't go into complete detail, but I encourage you all to read. Basically, like, there's a whole page of the interview that is just Donny Cates explaining how the book would have gone. And that's like really good. A lot of fun. Just talking about how it would have stretched different places, characters would have gotten a bigger spotlight, yada yada. Judgment comes, the Earth ends, and we go into a full-on Mad Max universe.
Which I honestly want more of. I'm with Manny.
Yeah.
I want more of these issues.
This should have been at least a full issue.
I think I read this. I read this online when I was a poor college student and had to pirate stuff. I read this online, and I remember getting to this part, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, because I didn't have pages, I didn't have a book in front of me, I didn't know how long it was. I was like, "Oh shit, shit's about to get real crazy." And then two more clicks, I was like, "What the fuck?" That's it.
It's just over.
Yeah.
Too bad. So sad.
Yeah. Man, it would have been great. God, it would have been so great.
Dude, I love this pen. You guys have the pen up in the back too, right?
Yes.
So you got, Ward and Sarah, and then is that Jesus? I'm pretty sure that's Jesus.
I think it is Jesus.
Yeah.
And if you go to the bottom, there's Mickey in hell.
He's me. Damn you!
What a kick-ass book.
Oh, and by the way, Trace is reading Ghost Fleet in heaven. That's the funny thing.
Oh, shit.
Is he really?
Yep, it literally says Ghost Fleet on the front of the cover.
Yeah. That's awesome.
He's reading issue 9.
Right, yeah.
But,
something with bears.
Y'all, what a good book. I mean, it has its problems. It's not my favorite, but
shut your fucking mouth.
It is very good.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's not. I had a kick-ass time. Of course, it's speaking my language. John Carpenter is one of my guys. You know what I mean? Like, I love me some John Carpenter.
If you don't like John Carpenter, fuck off. No.
Yeah, actually, if you don't, this is my hot-ish take, is that John Carpenter is the single most underrated filmmaker of all time.
Didn't he
because
he's got synthwave too?
Yeah, he does all of the scores to his movies.
So he's amazing, and he's making video games right now.
He's a genius. Yeah, he's a fucking genius. Like, yeah, everybody loves Halloween, everybody loves The Thing, Escape from New York, but this man made like about a dozen and a half bangers. Rosary Bead Punch is very funny in the back matter of the book. But enough about John Carpenter. Donny Cates, Daniel Warren Johnson, they collabed. It's Daniel Warren Johnson before he's fully Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yeah.
Which just makes this an absolutely fun thing to examine. It's an interesting examination in how to handle pacing, how the industry works, and sometimes you will not get the full issue order if you're approved for a series. So, lessons to learn. I love the inside baseball of it all.
I love the fact that this is labeled under trucker revenge / action horror.
Hell yeah.
That's what
Yeah. It is rated M for mature. You can get this. It's put out by Image Comics, this whole damn thing. I'm sure you can find this at Dan's table or Donnie if he's tabling at any con. Go to your LCS, find this book, talk to the comic book nerds who run those shops, and get more recommendations because they'll point you in the right direction. This book is great. Any closing thoughts from the two of you?
Ben, you go.
So again, this being the second thing that I knew Dan had done, it was not the second book of Dan's that I read, because Space Mullet was the first, and then I was buying Extremity single issues at the time, and I had no idea that Ghost Fleet was even a thing, which makes me very sad. But it is great, just once again, to see kind of his first mainstream project, if you will, because it was for Image at the time. So it's not like he was on a small label.
Right.
And
shit.
And Donnie Cates was definitely established at this point.
Yeah.
Right. And
Because he
seeing
had done
him,
Buzzkill.
Yeah.
right. Dude, Buzzkill's still so good. We got to do Buzzkill. But the again, to your point, Kev, if you're coming here for like a cohesive, coherent story, you're not going to get one.
No.
But if you are a huge fan of like action horror flicks that you just need to turn your brain off and not have to worry about anything that's going to just sit there and, you know, leave you crying like a normal Daniel Warren Johnson story will, but still has amazing action, amazing characters. And it's still amazing to see that even Dan in his second outing, he gets it. Like he knows visual storytelling. So it's awesome. It is, in my opinion, if you are a Donny Cates or Daniel Warren Johnson fan, you have to have it. If you're looking for just a big, fun action comic, like, dude, there's no reason not to get this. It's definitely worth a read. It is goofy fun. It is just action packed. So yeah, go out, like Kev said, go to your local comic book store, ask them for Ghost Fleet. It is not going to disappoint you from an action perspective.
Definitely.
But don't come in here thinking that you're going to read, you know, Shakespeare or a linear story, because it's not entirely there.
It's a little.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's good. You should go buy it.
The man said it.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. If you made it this far, damn hour 40 minutes. We'll try our best to get these reined in to a reasonable length at some point, but maybe
for a Daniel Warren Johnson book, we did a good job.
Yeah, right.
Fair. We just need an editor. And by that I mean thanks for hanging out. We're gonna call it here.
Yeah.
Have a great evening, great weekend. We love you. Mouth Breathers Guild signing off.